Are you ready to blow your audience away with a great experience? Well, listen up. You've come to the right place. Grab your notepad and sit back. The show is ready to begin.
Welcome to the Chris Rissy Podcast, where small business owners and entrepreneurs get first-hand tips and insight on creating ultimate personal experiences. Let's get this show on the road.
Hey, this is Chris Rissy, and thank you. Welcome and thank you to the Chris Rissy Podcast. Welcome for coming. Thank you for staying. And thank you for coming back, maybe, if this is your second time. I appreciate my listeners, obviously, because you could be doing something else right now. You could be, doing something alternative to listening to this podcast. And I got to make sure that this is not a waste of your time, obviously. I want this to be constructive and productive, valuable, something that you can learn from and take away from. And, that kind of goes along with the theme of today's episode, because today is about learning, about being that student. And I'm a student. I'm a lifetime student with business and life, personally. But in business, you can never stop learning. The day you stop learning is the day you stop growing. And, we're really going to hit that home today on this podcast episode. Let's talk about what's going on in this episode. I've got an interview for you, another interview, and it was a great one. I just got off, talking to this couple. This is, a couple of business owners, the business that they have and operate themselves. And I've actually been a customer of theirs. Actually, my son has been a customer of theirs, and I've been able to watch my son be the student and grow with these two in their program, what their business is all about. And their business is Taekwondo, martial arts. And the name of their business is actually Success Martial Arts. In this episode, I am talking to Brock Yoder and Courtney Frost, two, multiple degree black belts, I believe, in the art of Taekwondo. But it's more than just Taekwondo. It's more than just doing those moves. It's really personal development. And personal development is key to professional development. You have to grow as a person in order to grow as a business. And, this starts at any age. And with Taekwondo, it can start as young as, 4 or 5, or you could be, in your 40s, 50s, 60s. It doesn't matter. These are things that can be taught and learned at any time. So you are a student throughout your life. For my son, I have watched him become the kid who was bouncing off the walls to the kid who is disciplined and eager to do the next thing, to take the next step. And it's been amazing for him. I can't describe in words the transformation that has happened for my son. It's just been amazing and almost unbelievable, with who he is and how he's been able to kind of turn that in and change it into a kid who wants to move forward and take the next step and put forth the effort to make things happen, to have a goal and to learn about attitude and all these different things, just these things that make for a rich life and a prosperous life, a successful life. And that doesn't matter whether or not you're in business or anything else. So anyways, I don't want to take up too much of your time before we jump into this interview, but I will say this is episode number 11. So you are welcome to head over to chrisrissy.com/EP11 and get the show notes. All right. So I don't want to say any more. I want to get straight to the show. So here we go. This is me with Brock Yoder and Courtney Frost of Success Martial Arts. Hey, Brock and Courtney, welcome to the show.
Hello. Hey, how are you today?
I'm good. I hope you guys are doing well. So what we're doing here on the show is we're gonna go through your story and let you kind of tell it about you guys as a young couple running a business on your own. You've been doing it for a couple of years, and to give the audience some background, you guys do Taekwondo. You do the martial arts and you teach kids. In fact, you teach my kid. But it goes far beyond that. And that's kind of what I want to bring out in our episode today is, there's more to just learning Taekwondo, and there's more than meets the eye in a business. What do you think?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. That concept of more than is so important in life. We both feel. So it's most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta show up and put up, but then, you got to go the extra mile too, especially, in a business when you want to get growth from it and you want to attract people. You can't just do the bare minimum. You gotta do the most. Be an overachiever in your own business.
Definitely.
Okay, so hey, Brock and Courtney, why don't we get you started with your business? I've known you guys for a little over a year now. When my son started there at the school, I think he might have been 5 or 6. I think something tells me he was 6, and he's 8 now. And being in your program, I've got to be honest here. I have seen him transition into a very disciplined little boy. Mostly while he's there at the school, he kind of maybe falls apart a little bit when he gets home because he's excited and maybe tired from all the hard work that he's gone through. But I've watched him, and being all over the place to being very focused and again disciplined. That's kind of what I've learned from Taekwondo. So, okay, well, anyways, you guys are all about the Taekwondo and more. So tell us all about it.
Yeah. Well, we started up in 2012 is when we opened. We're coming up on our anniversary here. And it had been something we as you kind of said, we run it together. At the time, we were dating. We're now engaged, and we I had always set a goal when I was really young to have a martial arts school. I set it right around you were talking about your son's age of starting around 6. Right around when I was like 6 or 7 is when I really didn't know what goals were at the time, but I guess I would call it a dream. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I thought, man, this is cool. Like, he gets to punch and kick and jump and do the fun stuff all day long. Like, man, I want to do that. And we were blessed enough a year after I graduated high school to be able to open the business then. And it's really been a part of our whole life. Has been Taekwondo and martial arts. That's actually where we met. It was through Taekwondo, through martial arts. And it's been something that's impacted both of our lives to the point of like you talked about, the discipline and the respect that it's taught us has been immense. And we just love, I think, truly the thing that, and I know I'm going to let Court speak here in a second, but I think the thing we love is being able to help just kids, and not only kids, but adults as well, but just help students be the best they can be. In through them being the best they can be, they're helping us as well. Because in no means are we, the school owners or the instructors that are going to stand up front and act like we're perfect or like we, or anything. We always have to grow. We always have to learn. And in that's, I think the coolest part for us is that we now every single day get to help pour into kids and help them, and they at the same time are helping us, just as we get to see our instructor pour into us, and now we're learning how we were able to help him grow on his journey as well. So yeah, that's kind of our story, I guess, a little bit.
Okay, well, it's certainly a good one. I like the part where you're talking about how your passion as children brought you together, but then also took you farther into life where you've taken your passion and turned it into a business yourself.
Definitely.
So that's great. And now seeing other children now in your program, and you're drawing out the things that make them individuals, but also allow them to connect with you and with each other. So, okay, well, Courtney, you probably have something to add to that story too.
Yeah, I started right around Caden's age. So I had started like in between like that, like 8 to 9 range. And then, like I had done like loads of other sports. I had done swimming, basketball, softball, all those other types of activities, and they never really stuck. So I, like, not just my parents, because they were tired of me kind of quitting on things in a sense, but like me too, like I wanted something that I could actually go and just really dig into and really be able to like stick it through the long haul instead of just kind of once the season was done, then be done. And then this is like, since it's always like a year-round sport, it always kind of helped with that. And then it was like the first day I was like, I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. So I was so excited. And then surprisingly too, for anybody who knows me, they probably wouldn't believe this, but before I had started, I was actually kind of shy. Like I really didn't have this outrageously bubbly personality, and being able to just whoever it is, just be able to have a conversation, and like, so the life skills part of Taekwondo also has really kind of helped me in the long run as well. So it's just always fun to be able to like kind of pull back how I felt when I started, how I was kind of shy and kind of nervous to try some things, and really kind of nervous about not necessarily the whole commitment, but being able to stick it out. And then seeing how kids act nowadays, like I can kind of how I felt, and then be able to kind of use my experience to help them in the long run.
Right. No, and I could see that too. The structure that the Taekwondo provides, being able to adhere to that and learn the routine and the discipline there, that really helps you grow. And, I was very similar to you. I did things like basketball, and, I could barely dribble. I might have gotten the ball once across 10 different games, maybe made one basket the entire season. I played soccer. I was typically the goalie, and that was because my coach probably recognized I didn't really feel like running. But then, eventually, I was in swimming too. I swam. I was never any good. But then once I think I got into middle school, something clicked in me that said, you know what? I think I could be good at this if I put forth the effort to. And from that point on, I set records. I traveled, placed in state. But then I was in it too long and I ended up getting burned out and hurt. But that, that's an unfortunate thing, but that's okay, because at that point I was able to transition into something that I had more of a passion for, and that was the internet. And, but we don't need to get into my story. Let's go back to you guys. So I really like what we've dug out here. Brock was talking about how he was able to take a passion and then turn it into a business. And Courtney, you were able to talk about how you had something that you could adhere to and grow with and become comfortable as a person. And both things that you guys have learned here apply to a business. When you start in business, you have to have the energy in order to make it successful, to find and grow it and push it to get somewhere with it. And that's not everybody's able to do something like that. It makes you special. It makes you unique when you can get behind something like that. And when you can also apply things like the routine, like the discipline. When individuals start businesses, and maybe you guys felt this way too, or maybe you were a little bit different, but for most starting entrepreneurs, discipline and routine is the hardest thing to come by. Usually it's just distractions galore. And you have to be then focused yourself to create those routines and then actually follow through on those routines. I have been notorious with that, where I'll neglect the processes and systems I've put in place in my business and myself, they feel the consequences of it. So, so less about me, more about you guys. With your business, when you got started back in 2012, take us through that process. How did you guys really get it off the ground and get going?
Yeah, we kind of funny enough, it was in 2012. I think it was June 2nd. She always makes fun of me. I forget the exact day sometimes. I'm not the best with dates, but it was a cool date for us because it was a year to the day after I graduated high school, and then it was the day after her high school graduation, actually. And so it was kind of a unique time in really throughout the ending of my high school career. I was really heavy into band, and it was something where I was really thinking it was gonna possibly stop my martial arts career, and that's what I was gonna go to college for. Was a music career, and it just didn't quite feel right. Something wasn't sitting right, and I knew that in the back of my head I still had kind of that dream and that goal. And we knew me and Court both had that kind of desire just to want to continue martial arts and continue Taekwondo. And so my last year of high school, my senior year, I was able to do through our high school an internship program. And I was already working at another martial arts school that I had started with, that I had started at. And I was teaching in that year of senior year, I got to dive into the, I guess I'll call it the business side, I guess a little bit more of the martial arts school, and learn more about, the sales practices and the bookkeeping or just any of that little details on how they were running their school. And I got to dive into that a little bit more.
The fundamentals.
Yes, definitely.
Those are good.
Definitely, yeah. And so I got to do that senior year, and then I spent the whole year after that just kind of getting prepared, making sure I got to travel. She was still in high school that year, so she really didn't get to travel with me quite as much. But I got to travel just to other martial arts schools across the country, past instructors that I had got to meet, just relationships that we had both and connections that we had made through Taekwondo. And I got to go to some of the most successful schools in the country, and I got to see some schools that aren't in business anymore to this day. And both helped me grow equally as important. I feel that. And I remember just being able to come back from those trips and talking with Court and just saying, okay, well, I really like this, or that's really not working so well, or Goshen is such a different environment than this. And it really kind of got me just to see other ideas and other ways of doing things, not just what I had been trained on for 15 years to the point, or however long it had been, however long I had been in martial arts to that point. It wasn't just the same thing then. So, and then after that, I actually was able to get financing for the business through my parents. They had it was kind of an ultimatum, and it was honestly probably I would say the toughest choice of my life to this point. Was it was either college or they would help fund what they could to get the business started. And obviously, I think now it's obvious I chose the business, but that's really how funding I got the funding to start the business. And it went after that. We started up classes in June, and we just kind of hit the ground running with it. Then once we got it, yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, no, the ultimatum. I know that could be a scary point in your life. And
definitely.
I went through something similar where I was either going to fail out of college or become that entrepreneur and be out on my own. And unfortunately, I made the opposite decision. You got into Taekwondo as a business, and I went back to school. And when I look back at that, I think that was a critical point that I probably should have made the other decision. But that's hindsight is 2020. So I congratulate you on sticking it out and having the confidence in yourself to make that decision.
Thank you.
That takes strong willpower. So
yeah, it took a lot of. I can't take all the credit. It took the strong woman next to me to help me. So,
well, that's good. And that's excellent. That's, having a partner in business, in somebody to lean on and, when you need help, that matters a lot, and you both were in the same boat though, too. Somebody could be paddling while the other person's bailing. And, that's nice. That's nice to have that.
Yeah. Definitely.
And not everybody gets that luxury, if you want to call it that. So more power to you. So, well, good. Now, one thing that I really liked about what you were talking about there is how you got to explore other businesses, other Taekwondo businesses, and the ones that were successful and the ones that weren't, and to be able to compare the two. But you were also able to network with people in your industry. Those things in business are paramount, especially the networking, how you can learn so much from others if you just take the step to go out and do that. It's a lot of people get stuck at that decision. Their businesses fall apart because they can't get insight. They can't go out and reach out to others to get help. So you being able to do that is very, very good. What would you say, was that a big contribution to your success now, is being able to see the other businesses?
I honestly would. It helped me, and even it's the funny part is it's even 4 or 5 years down the road since we opened, I'm still finding myself drawing back to some of those things that we looked at, and looking at those other schools and comparing and trying to grow and change. I would most definitely say so. Even just from like a teaching standpoint, to see how they do their classes, how they split their classes up, everything on their sales practices. It was amazing to see how many different ways there was to sell one thing. It really has helped both of us immensely, being able to call back on those. And like you said, the cool part is with networking with them, was we're able to still call them. We've both built relationships through Taekwondo and outside of Taekwondo as well, where I can call them and say, hey, I am completely confused. I don't know what to do. Or I can call them and say, hey, thanks for this advice. This really worked. Or, hey, I'm not listening to you this time. That really didn't work. No, but no, it gives me the ability to kind of call them and talk to them and keep a personal relationship going where they're there and they care for me. And they want the best. It's not like a competition aspect. It's just everybody wants the best for everybody. We want both schools to be successful. And it really does. It gives us a lot to draw back on. It helps us grow. That's really, we just always are trying to grow, to learn, to get new ideas, to make sure we're benefiting the students in the best way possible. So
absolutely, yeah. Networking. I mean, your network turned into mentors for you. You were able to identify those who were able to help you as leaders, as teachers, where you could be the student and really just soak it up. Learn as much as you possibly can from others' successes and others' mistakes. And then, of course, there's the point where you have to go out and do it for yourself and try things and have new ideas. You can see others' creativity with the same program in your industry, and then be able to go out and apply your own creativity to those things and see whether or not it works. So then, Courtney, how about for you? We've kind of gotten Brock's side of it. Where did you? I know you didn't get to do so much traveling, but you were able to learn some things. See Brock in how he was building the business from the start. How did your role come into play? That kind of, where did you learn and how did you apply things?
At first, I was only thinking my position was going to be kind of just helping teach with some of the classes and stuff. But then as we've slowly started growing and growing, I've been getting more and more responsibilities. So now I take the time to try and go back to some of the people he had been talking to through that year he got to travel, and then just kind of take little tidbits from them and things like that. Try and while he does a lot more of the I'm trying to think of the word, the other type of business side of it. I try and do more of the organization side, help keep him from losing his noggin because he lost for a paper win or something like that.
Which happens a lot.
Yes. Yes. It's no, it's over here. I got it for you. But, just trying to like use some of the skills that I have that I didn't necessarily know I had at the moment until it took time to just do it anyway.
Right.
You know, like, yeah. So, and then I think some of the, like one of the things that I kind of help him with too is doing like some of the marketing type stuff. So, you know, thinking of like ways to go out, like get our name out to the community, whether it's like through Facebook, through like different types of advertising, or like even just like the little events we do here at the school, you know, stuff like that. And then, so I think like throughout, like when I was in high school, I had a marketing teacher who would kind of give in some tips and tricks and stuff like that too. So I think just kind of being able to, like, I think kind of like how schools nowadays let you pick what you can learn in high school kind of helped me a little bit, because I had picked more of the business side of things, because like how he brought up how one of his goals was to start a school. That had actually been one of my goals too when I was younger, was to have my own school. And now it's kind of, now since he's got it, my goal is kind of to turn into like to have like my own type of other business. So, but yeah, I think just kind of learning in a sense from him how he does some things has kind of really helped me keep in mind some of the things that I want to do when I have my own business.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, being entrepreneurs doesn't mean you have to have one business. Yeah. And you guys have been able to complement each other where Brock is strong. You don't have to worry about that. And where you're strong, Brock doesn't have to worry about that. But where you guys are weak, individually, you kind of fill in the space for each other.
Yeah.
So, and that's good. That's good. You guys, have different characters in your business, but ultimately you're trying to get one story told. And that is to teach the Taekwondo and have a successful, school. In order to do that, for any business, you have to have a lot of different hats you wear, a lot of different characters you have to play. As business owners, and when you can split that responsibility and not have so much conflict and fighting over certain roles or certain character traits, instead of you can combine and work together towards a common goal, then more power to you, more power to what you're trying to create, and a better experience you're ultimately going to create for everybody in your business, those who are using your services, such as my son being in Taekwondo, and certainly for the parents too. I mean, I enjoy watching you guys work with my son and all the other kids, as well as adults. It goes for everybody who gets to experience that. So, okay, well, you talked about how you got started in 2012 and the first 6 months. I hear you talk about the first 6 months a little bit more often. That kind of stands out in my mind. Yeah. Was that the most challenging period for you guys?
It was. It was great, and then it was a great learning experience as well. We actually we started off in summertime, and as I talked to a lot of the other people, martial arts school owners, they had said summer was their worst period by far. In a lot of times because of other outdoor sports, people get
school
ready
schedule. Yeah,
exactly. And so it was a lot of schools said it was a tough spot. And so we were going into it thinking, well, okay, we picked the toughest season out of all to open, and we really weren't sure what to do. And surprisingly enough, we actually, I guess I shouldn't say surprisingly enough, but I think it was a surprise to me. I wasn't sure what to expect. We actually had a really good boom when we first opened. We took some ideas from other schools and did some construction day things. So we opened our doors with like our first class having people in it. We nice. Kind of made sure we got a pre-start, and that was what really helped us. It was I always think of it as the snowball that's rolling down the hill. Our snowball was already halfway down the hill. It had already gained some steam. It had already gained some momentum. And
I like that metaphor.
Yeah. And luckily, it's not snowing in May here, but it could be. But yeah, no, it was moving. And in the learning part came between like the 4th month to the 6th month when we weren't new anymore. And I think that's where it was toughest for me to kind of understand what we were. To me, I was just kind of an unclassified thing. I wasn't quite sure what we were. We weren't new, but I had plenty of people that still didn't know we were there.
Right.
So we kind of lost the buzz. And I think a lot of new businesses, even as I just look at new businesses that open in the community, we do great at grand opening. But what do we do to come, to get someone back that second time?
Right.
And that was, I think, what really kind of opened our minds up a little bit to say, okay, it's not going to be where people are excited for this new thing. Like, what is Success Martial Arts? What are they? We're blessed enough to have a great spot in the community. We're right by one of the biggest restaurants in the city, and by the only movie theater in the city. So we had this location where people were, coming to the movies on the weekend, and they'd see our sign up, and we weren't open yet. And they'd say, oh, that's cool. What is this? And then 6 months in, well, they've seen it. They've gone to the movies once or twice in that span. They've seen us already. They've seen it there. So I think that was the biggest adjustment for us. Was okay. Now, how do we get into the everyday marketing side of things? And that's where I really had to relinquish some of my. I'm a more of a controlling person at times with my personality, and that's where I had to kind of let go. Like you talked about with having Court being having her gifts and being special at what she does, was me letting go and saying, okay, I need you're smart. You're smarter than me, honey, and you got it. So she kind of helped us get through that. But yeah, the first 6 months was our toughest. I think the other tough time not to try and sound to make excuses, but with us being younger, I didn't look into the tax side of things on how to get all our taxes lined up. So I think the first April time was another one of our I guess I'll say most stressful times, or just most confusing times, was tax season. And I think that was definitely our biggest struggle, was understanding just our setup, what we were, and what I thought I knew. I clueless. I had no idea. So it helped me really dive in to understand what I was doing a lot better.
Right. Well, I can't speak on the taxes. I'm not a CPA, and for the audience, don't get tax advice here. Definitely go see a professional. But no, I understand that same pain. I mean, every April, it's always painful. Or March, depending on when you're doing your taxes for your business. You definitely get better at it. But it's always that time, like, oh, I hope everything's correct. Right. But that again, like that, it doesn't always become painless, because again, you are paying taxes.
Definitely.
Well, so you did have that period of growth, where you learned and that feeling of new, letting go of control. I mean, you're saying all of the things that are challenges for most small business owners. And I'm glad you were able to see that there were some things that you needed to let go and share responsibility for. That's very hard for business owners when they're by themselves. When they start bringing people on, they can run into conflict very quickly because they don't want to relinquish that control to the person they've hired. And when you can't do that, and you can't let other people flourish within your business, you're kind of stifling your own growth as a business and as a person too. Yeah. So you have to recognize that in yourself, and it sounds like you did, and that's great. And as your business grows, you need to keep that up.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to go back and for you and for the listeners, when you can relinquish more control of your business and give others more responsibility within it, you're creating that compound effect for your business. You're creating more of you. You're creating better versions of you in other people. And you both learn that along with the people working with you. So Courtney, you've learned quite a bit too along the way. What was the most challenging thing in the business getting started for you?
I would say, like, I kind of, like, when I had first started out, like, I kind of almost second guessed all of my ability, like, teaching Taekwondo and being able to relate to the kids and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily so much like the business side of it, more, I mean, I guess it's still the business side, but, like, I almost didn't think that I could do some of the things that I have done, like being able to do like one full day of classes by myself, like, so like I think like the biggest like learning thing for me was knowing that if I don't push myself to do it, how do I know if I can or I can't?
Right.
Like I think like that was the biggest thing for me, was just kind of knowing my ability and if I hadn't tried it before, then not letting my own fear, I guess,
Right.
kind of hold me back from trying it at least.
Okay. So you're saying you're completely fearless now?
Yep. I'm ready to go.
Well, good. So yeah, I'm really glad you said that, because that's kind of a segue into my next question for you, is about those experiences. And both of you have opened up and shared the experience that you've been learning for yourself, or how you're growing as individuals and together as a couple for your business. And when you say you second guess what you're trying to do for the kids in the group, for your students, we'll just call them students. That really shows that you care. You care about the experience you're creating for your customers, those students. So now let's talk about how much you care about that. What type of experience are you really trying to create for your students? Take us through that a little bit.
I'll let you want to go first. I feel bad. I feel like I'm talking a lot. I'll let her talk a little.
Okay.
I think like from what we've kind of like just talked about, like how we want the vibe to be here, we want it to be kind of really family oriented, like it's not just the kids that are the students who come here and take classes. Like we want the parents or the family members who are sitting outside on the benches watching, taking pictures, to be able to genuinely enjoy what it is that's happening out on the 45 minutes that they're out on the mat, so we like, and we wanted to, like how he had brought up a little bit earlier about how like we don't want to make ourselves seem like we're perfect, because nobody's perfect. Like we all have skills and traits that we can put into our classes to help everyone. So even if it's not necessarily the student who's sitting out on the mat, but even if it's like the mom, dad, grandma, grandpa out there that's like, oh, I didn't think about doing something like that before, like we want it to be all well-rounded and family oriented. Like we're closer with some of the students that are here than we are some of like our own like blood family. So like we just want it to be like we just want it to be close knit, and we want like them to, if they have like a problem, be able to come and be able to talk to us and not think that we're going to be mad at them or anything like that. Like we want to make it the best we can for every single person who comes here. And then like if we don't have somebody or families that come and say something or anything like that, like it's hard for us to be able to learn and adapt it out to the students and their families, or even the new potential families that come in.
Right. Well, okay. So here, I'm going to tie something in that Brock was talking about earlier with what you're talking about now, about creating those family-oriented experiences. When you guys were getting started, Brock, you were talking about how you basically had your school filled when you opened the doors. And that was from doing the pre-sale, being the customer development. People were stopping by, seeing what was going on because of your location, and they were probably talking to you, right?
Yeah.
They were getting that information. They were interacting with you and engaging you on a personal level. So they got to see the instructors and get to know you as people. You weren't this unknown Taekwondo school where they just send their kids into, and hopefully the kids come back from learning something. They were able to experience you guys firsthand. And that's probably what filled your school there to begin with. And now with Courtney talking about the family-oriented experience and really interacting with not just the students, but with the parents as well. and everybody who comes through the doors. Now you're talking about what is keeping your business going and keeping you growing, because you're creating personal experiences every time somebody steps foot through that door. And that's what's going to continue to be your business growth, creating, I like to call it customer and client development. But you're creating those lifetime experiences. When those kids get older, when those parents have more kids come through and they go out and they talk about the things that their children are learning, they're going to tie the names Brock and Courtney with Success Martial Arts to it. That's what they're out there doing, that word of mouth marketing for you. And as long as you continue to provide those experiences and grow as individuals and as a business to make, you're talking about perfection. Perfection might be an ultimate goal, but perfection always changes over time as you guys learn new things. That the image of perfection changes. But as long as you're making a goal of trying to get there and grow and make that your ultimate success, you're going to see continued growth as a business. So just wanted to interject that in there for you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any? I mean, tell us a little bit more about the experiences, because I, for one, get to sit there. Of course, I do run outs from time to time when my son's there, because I've got to get my my daily business routine completed. But again, as I said early on here in the show, I've really been able to watch my child grow. And it wasn't immediate. It was over time. And your guys' names are household names for us. You've created the lifetime experience for us. My son looks forward to going to school after school and being able to kind of show off to you guys, show off to me, show off to his fellow students how he's become better. So, what do you guys see that across all of your students?
Yeah, definitely. It really is neat. I keep thinking of what Court brought up of like the personal connections. I get more, I shouldn't say stressed, but I get more worried or concerned for some of the kids sometimes than I do my own family members. It's such a neat experience. It really, to me, it always is most representative when a student gets their black belt. And I just think we just had a black belt ceremony a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And it always ends up with one or both of us crying, and
Usually be.
Yeah, in a lot of in the students crying, and it's just this great reflective period of where they started and where they are now, and to see the growth, to see the improvement. It's what I do it for. There were points where I can't. And this is one of the best advice I ever got from somebody was when I teach Taekwondo to make money, I'm teaching Taekwondo for the wrong reason. Mm-hmm. And I needed to make sure, and it is completely a great feeling to see the students just grow. Like you said, it's neat. I one of Court's great, like, I don't know what I'm going to say, like, personality traits is that she's a very talkative person. She gets to really connect with like the parents really well. So she gets to talk to them and see them and meet them, and that's always an ever struggling battle as well of always meeting the parents, of getting to them. Like you said, because we completely understand parents have their things they have to do. They have to go run their errands, or they got to go put dinner in, or whatever they need to do. They got to run the brother or sister to baseball, soccer, basketball practice, and so is trying to get that. But I love when a parent takes the time to come in and see us. And I love that almost all of our students' parents do that. They come in, they talk to us, they sit on the benches, they care to see that. And that's so crucial for their children as well. As I look across kind of the country and the world we live in right now, sometimes it's very easy to get disconnected from a child. And so I think it's neat to be able to have a business that allows parents to want to connect with their kids more, and do those types of things. We even do things that like the deed sheet that helps them connect outside of here, where we're talking with their teachers, we're talking with their parents, or their parents are filling out papers to see how they're doing, and we just want to see them be as successful as possible. That's really our goal for any student. We don't want them to be enthralled in things that aren't going to help them out, or to help them grow, or to help them be successful. And that's really our main thing. We just love to see them grow. We love to see them flourish. And like you said, it's an everlasting change. It's something where rarely ever do we have a student that whole life was changed after one class. They're going to learn some things in their first class, but it's the want to come back. It's the desire. It's, oh man, I had fun doing this, but I had fun learning to stand up tall. Like I had fun doing push-ups today. And it's that goal of always coming back, always getting to pour more into them and see their growth and their ultimate change that really keeps me going. I love it. That really started in me. I was fortunate enough to be able to do a school program a while back, and it was with a local school. And the program was designed for kids that were having, I guess for lack of a better term, behavioral issues at school. Maybe had been suspended for violence or just different things of that nature. And we didn't do it for any money. It was a completely free program. It was the most fun I had ever had teaching, because I got to impact these kids in a way where some of them didn't have the family at home, or they didn't have the support system at home to help them, but they had me, or they had us to be able to come to and help them and help keep them accountable and help them grow and things like that. And that's what I love, seeing the growth, because I know I love the feeling of when, like you said, of when people mentor me. I love knowing that there's someone there that wants to mentor me. I want to be that mentor for other people. And it's cool. Even just people younger than us that have come in, that are in a point in their life, that have come to us and been able to say, hey, what do you guys think? Or what's this? And, obviously we don't have any perfect answer, any right answer. We just have our opinion, but it's nice to be able to impact people in that way, to be able to be there for them and give them help in any way they need, and to be able to kind of sacrifice that. Going back to our black belt ceremony, one of the big keys of our black belt ceremony is sacrifice, and just how much sacrifice it takes to be a black belt, how much personal sacrifice you had to have, how much time you sacrificed, effort, and how much that sacrifice was important as well then. But yeah. Okay.
Well, I would say, that to sum up what you just said there is in the name of your business, and it is success. You help instill and ingrain the appetite for success in your students. And yeah, it takes effort. It really does take that effort. And, when you start getting that appetite for the success, you don't really feel the effort for the growth. You don't feel that, sacrifice. I know that was kind of your word there to describe what the kids are going through when they get the black belt, the time leading up to it. But when you've made a goal out of that black belt, you don't see sacrifice as what you have to do in order to get there. It's much more meaningful.
Right.
So that's kind of what I'm getting out of what you were describing, is how the kids are then, once they've gone through that, and whether, who knows what story they're facing at home, what challenges there might be. But what you've ingrained in them is to see a goal and to grow to that goal, to have a focus and clarity in their life that can be applied and translated into anything that they do. And being able to do that at an early age, or even at no matter what age, because you do have adults in there as well. Once you can understand that and see where you've gone from your starting point to the point you are now, as an individual, you've had help along the way, of course. But again, in everything that you do, you can find help. There's help there and you have to ask for it. So,
yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap this show up, but before we go, what I want to know is what was the one thing in your story here as growing as individuals, as business owners, watching others grow within your business and trying to attract people to your business, and what you're doing. What's that one thing that you see as success, or one thing that you've taken away from it?
And we both kind of agree. I think it's learning is the biggest thing. That you are always going to have to want to learn. I got inspired by a pastor, the lead pastor at our church we go to, by looking at his wall of books, and I think it was bigger than my local library. In just wanting to always learn, whether it's reading, whether it's like you said, asking for help, whether it's just trying to learn new Taekwondo moves, whether it's just that always process of learning. And we always want to strive to learn more. And the more we learn, the better off we are then.
Right.
I think we feel. So yeah, there's always, the quote as we look at our wall, one of the quotes on our wall from he's called Grandmaster Emeritus, Sun Ho Lee, is there's always more to learn. And that's something we put on our wall, and we try and live by it. There's always something more to learn. And the day we stop learning, she better kick me upside the head, or I'm going to kick her upside the head. We better change something.
And what kick would that be? Because I know you've got a lot of different kicks that you can do.
I think I'd do just like a big jump around kick right to the noggin. Right up there.
Yeah, I'm a fan of a butterfly kick. But,
okay. Well, always learning. That's a life lesson right there. And as being business owners, it's always about life lessons. As you grow, your business grows. As you learn more to apply to your business. And the characters that we play, the character, that's, obviously the one to learn is the student. You're always the student, and you're forever going to be the student, even when you're at retirement age. I don't see a lot of small business owners really actually retiring. They might retire from a specific business, but they're retiring to go do something else, to continue learning and to be that student over again, even if they've, quite possibly have learned everything that they could in their current industry. Their eagerness to learn about something new allows them to go to that next thing. So, and you're going to be able to continue to do that in your business as well, to continue to learn Taekwondo, to continue to learn about how to operate your business, to market, to create those experiences for those other characters in your business too, those students within your business. So you guys, I've watched you over the last couple of years now. You've been great. You've been consistent with what you're delivering to my child, and I've been very impressed. So, pat on the back there for both of you, Courtney and Brock, that you guys you're doing the right things in my eyes. So, keep it going.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
No problem. And, for the audience listening, hopefully you've learned something here today about learning, about always being that student. Brock and Courtney are young, but, of course, they've got a lot to learn, but they've also learned a lot along the way, and they've been able to share that here, and they're going to be able to share that with other people who also want to get into their industry, but also could learn the concepts from their industry and apply it to a different business in a different industry. So, Courtney and Brock, why don't you tell us now, before you go, where we can find out more information about you? Where can we find Courtney and Brock online? Success Martial Arts. Tell us. Yeah,
I'll go through our website, and then I'll let. I almost said Miss Frost. Sorry, I still back at that. I'll let Court. Sorry, I almost made it. Our website is successata.com.
Okay.
And that's we put a lot of info in there. We're actually one of the cool parts is we're always evolving, always changing with our online presence. So We're going to be updating that. We're even having some cool like login things for the students coming out in the near future, where they're going to be able to kind of go in and get some more online material for them to access. But that's our website. We have a lot of info, not just for students, but also for, like you said, for people that are just interested about martial arts. What is it we do? Things like that. That's successata.com. And then I'll let Court talk about some of the other stuff.
You can find us on Facebook and on Twitter. Right now I'm working on trying to get Instagram set up. So we're trying to get a couple of the big social medias out there. And then, yeah, so like us or follow us on one of those too if you're interested. And we can always send you a message too if you have any questions. And then our email and our phone numbers on both of those as well.
Okay, well, good. We'll definitely have those in the show notes. So we'll link to your website at successata.com, and as well as your Facebook and Twitter and possibly Instagram once it's available.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys, any last words?
Not really. Just always set out to learn more and always strive to be the best person you can be, and be thankful through everything. There's always someone in a worse situation. Just always be thankful. That's what I always try and let people know. Just be thankful for the position we're in. We're all very blessed to have the life we have, and just always strive to be the best we can be. But no, thank you for talking with us and chatting with us. It's been a pleasure. It's been fun.
Hey, it was great. I would love to have you guys on the show. And I'll keep an eye on you. Hopefully the audience will too. Watch you guys grow and do more. And modesty. I'm glad you brought up modesty. It's always good to be modest and thankful about how you've been able to grow. So, all right. Yep. Well, again, thanks guys. Thanks for being on, and we'll keep watching you.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, that was an awesome interview, and I really hoped that you were entertained as well as learned something. Remember, this episode was all about being the student and learning at any age, whether it's Taekwondo or it's business or, maybe both. We always need to be learning as business owners and as people. When you can continue to learn, then you always have something to look forward to. You can always have that next goal that you want to reach for. And being able to get there is just the process of learning, being the student. Even further than that, understanding that the student is a character that you play, and it's a character that you continue to play, a role that you're continuing to be in for the existence of you, really, beyond the business. As long as you continue to learn, you will always be that student. And it is a vital role in your business in order to make it grow and to get educated by the people you are doing business with and those who have been in the business. You need to be able to absorb that information, process it, and then apply it to you, as well as, add some creativity, add some flair to it. Again, as I said before we started the show, you can head over to chrisrissy.com/EP11 and get all the show notes where we've linked to Brock and Courtney's website at Success Martial Arts, as well as their Facebook and Twitter page, and hopefully their Instagram account as soon as that is available. While you're there, make sure to subscribe. I can't say that enough. Make sure you subscribe for everything that I've got going on, because for my subscribers, you guys know way ahead of time what's going on and what's coming up. And I'm the student to you. As much as you may be a student to me, I want to learn from you. I want to know the things that you need to know so I can help you get those answers. And so we don't have to waste time. You don't have to waste time. But learning's never a waste of time. You just want to get those answers sooner rather than later. Okay, and hey, if you're on Twitter, make sure you send me a tweet at Chris Rissy, and I will definitely tweet you back. Okay, that is the end of today's episode. Remember, chrisrissy.com/EP11. And as always, be the experience, master your business, and I'll talk to you next time.
You just listened to the Chris Rissy Podcast. Get past podcast episodes and more.
Visit chrisrissy.com.
Be the experience.
Master your business.